Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Justin Young, and he is Josh Tec. Welcome to the Fast Break as we do the commitment catch-up here on hoopscene.com. And quite frankly, shocking. It was kind of a quiet week on the recruiting front. So we'll go through it today on Monday. Two commitments that we want to talk about here on the commitment catch-up. Anthony Alston has headed to App State, and Bez Jenkins is off the board to Belmont. And Josh Tec, our editor of Hoopscene, but more importantly, our Atlanta-based guy, you know these two guys really well, so I want to tap into your expertise about these two commitments. And I kind of get the feeling that both of these are pretty good fits for the players and the schools. Is that kind of your gut feeling when you saw these two commitments?
Yeah, I love these two commitments. I know, like, then from a national perspective, it's always going to be focused on, who's going to Duke, who's going to North Carolina, yada, yada, yada. But I think these two commitments are really great for their respective schools and their respective individuals. I think these, just they fit so well.
Well, let's go into both of those. Let's start with Anthony Alston, headed to App State. I thought he was really, really good in June in the team camp stuff and the setting. And I think that's where App State really kind of made the decision to move pretty hard and push all the chips into the middle for him. What do you think he brings to the table, and where do you think he helps right away in Boone, North Carolina?
Well, I think both of those can be answered with a similar response, and that's just his shot making. Alston is just a fantastic shot maker. He plays, he's a really good role player on this Grayson team that's led by Jakari Harris, and they have all kinds of talent. So he's used to playing with a lot of talented players around him. He's used to kind of being like, all right, I know what I do best on this team, and I'm going to do that. And that's shooting, and that's being able to hit shots in big time moments. And I think that that's going to be able to translate to the college level because he's kind of already playing on a deep squad at the college level. He's going to be kind of asked to be a role player first and foremost, and then he'll develop into more of a starring role. But early on, I think it's gonna be just his ability to hit shots and his kind of just self-awareness. And one of my favorite things about Alston is he kind of has a sense of humor. Later on in the year, he kind of got used to a lot of the attention coming his way, so he would kind of have fun with taking headshots and stuff like that. So he kind of is a guy that's not afraid to. He's not going to shy away from the moment. I guess he's got a big personality. He plays like a big player, so I think he's going to be really good for the Mountaineers.
Well, I think he's got big game experience too, right? Like Grayson is unafraid to play high-level competition. We see them taking on all comers, and quite frankly, I think that type of experience before he even gets to college will really help him, and really, I think, help Dustin Kearns and his staff out to say, hey, listen, we trust this guy. He's been there. He's been in Metro Atlanta. He's played a national schedule at the high school level. Let's put him into conference play. If we need a big shot, we can draw one up and feel confident in the leather touching his hands and getting a good shot up. So really like that. Again, man, I thought that guy was awesome in June. I really did, man.
Absolutely. I feel like within the last year, dating back to maybe around this time last year, maybe a little bit earlier, maybe like July of last year, he really started to come into his own. He's really taken steps forward. And I think that's just going to keep continuing when he gets to college. I think he's kind of has a little bit of a late bloomer to him.
Let's pivot to the other commitment, Bez Jenkins. If I've learned anything in my career, Josh, it's this. If Casey Alexander is on a court during an NCAA live period watching a player, there's probably a dude on that court that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, that's pretty under-recruited. Like, I think Casey and his staff at Belmont are really one of the best evaluating staffs there is in college basketball. They know who's good. They know who works well with their system. And I think this commitment that they have in Bez Jenkins out of Newton High School in Metro Atlanta, a program that is like guard you really when you think about it in the Metro Atlanta area. I think they nailed another one moving forward, and I think they did a really good job with evaluation. Give me the scoop on what Bez Jenkins is and what kind of player Bez Jenkins can be down the road.
Well, I think let's start with what he is currently. He's a very versatile perimeter player. I say perimeter player because I feel like he can slot in kind of in guard spots and then on the wing if you need him to. He's a guy who can hit a shot. He's a guy who can kind of use his bigger frame, his stronger frame to score at the rim. He's kind of explosive with a very quick first step. So I think he's very good at, scoring from all levels, really. He played behind a lot of really talented players throughout his high school career.
Yeah.
So I think this year, going into the 2023-2024 high school season, we're going to keep learning a lot about Bez Jenkins because he's going to be a starring player on that Belmont, or not, pardon me, maybe when he gets to Belmont, but he's going to be a starring player on this Newton team that's got a new head coach, got a new kind of no more Stephon Castle, no more Ja'Kai Newton, no more Marcus Whitlock. It's a new bunch of faces. They're going to take a take more prominent steps into the spotlight. And Bez Jenkins is going to be the captain. He's going to be the leader. He's going to be the most tenured guy. So we're going to continue to learn more about him. And I think in the future, going into college, this is where I think Casey Alexander and his staff do such a great job, is really, like you said, finding under-recruited players, kind of digging into the deeper, darker corners. Like at this point, Bez Jenkins hasn't been the star on any of the teams he's played on, but they saw something in him that they liked. And I think that's going to bode well for Bez Jenkins and Belmont when he gets to college, because they're going to keep developing him and keep tapping into that player that they saw. And they do such a great job with it, right? They get under-recruited guys, and they turn them into draft picks. Look at Ben Shepherd. Look at a guy like Dylan Windler. Like, they turn some of these guys that go under the radar into draft picks. So I think that this is going to be a guy that's going to not only take a step forward this year, but when he gets into college, he's going to keep blossoming into a player that we continue to learn more about.
Evaluation plus development. I mean, obviously that is the sweet spot when it comes to recruiting and then the on-court and the collegiate experience. So Bez Jenkins, certainly a guy that you get excited about thinking about what he can become. To your point, man, Belmont's done such a great job down in the state of Georgia and really in the Southeast and finding some dudes. So it'll be fun to keep our eyes on that one to see what goes on there. Josh Tec, we appreciate the insight on these two commitments. Slow week. Hopefully we'll have a lot more here in the coming weeks ahead as we get into official visit season, football season. A lot of guys taking some campus visits and really taking in that fall weather. Maybe might take a while.
I hope we get fall weather.
I hope so too. But this was good. Two guys from the state of Georgia off the board as we go through it in this week's commitment catch up. Thanks, Josh. We'll see you next week.